What up, investors? What up, traders? Today we're going to be looking at Luckin's coffee. This is the Chinese Starbucks that we're looking at. So this has been halted for nearly a month since the beginning of April due to some very shady reporting via their financial statements saying that the sales were up and different other manipulation of the overall earnings report. So the reason we're making this video today is that they're going to be reopening the stock, which is ticker symbol LC. This is the NASDAQ. It's going to be opening it up on Wednesday morning. The NASDAQ told Bloomberg that they're planned to delist the one-time market darling as it shocked investors with the relations of the accounting fraud last month. So Luckin has fired, I believe, their CEO and CFO, but this stock has just been, I remember back in December, we'll look here on the chart in a second, it was nearly 50 bucks. You can see here on the chart slightly, and it's lost literally 95% of its value, I believe, in just a matter of like weeks due to this scandal of the accounting fraud. So this is like the #1 red flag, and anyone who's lived around the Enron days, when things are just too good to be true, and once that red flag pops up saying the famous words of accounting fraud, it's just basically downhill from there. That being said, I can't recommend and even look at buying into this just due to the fact of there's just so many things against it. Even though I'm a contrarian trader and an investor, it's just not in the playbook to be betting against a company that has committed accounting fraud. Even though they say things that they have an external auditor that is U.S. based, that's doing a lot of more auditing and things like that, it's just not worth the occasion. So the plan is to, the Chinese-based coffee company said it's planned to request a hearing with the NASDAQ to not have it delisted 30 to 40 days after the request last week. Again, we talked about the chief being fired and so forth, but let's go ahead and jump to the charts here. Whew, it's a nasty one here. Basically hitting a high. This stock wasn't even been around for that long because it basically listed an IPO almost a year ago. So the stock was basically on the market for 10 months. Traded pretty statically and just within a range of basically $24 to $19, $18 plus or minus there, really steadily. But then after its first quarter, or second quarter, as a publicly traded company, they're still losing money, but it had a huge jump up, and that was on like same store sales, that was on different things of, again, this company is strictly based in China, and they're completely competing against the Starbucks within China. So we had a huge ramp up, completely keeping up with the 21 exponential moving average all the way up to basically the beginning of this year. And then again, the pandemic hit China first. You saw that swing down. The 200 exponential moving average came in for support, kind of steadied off a little bit, but then the overall pandemic hit the rest of the world and it starts selling off, closing below the 21. The 8 crossed through the 21, continue heading down. The 200 came in for a couple days to hold for support, but then it failed. It tried to break back above it here, failed again, and then that terrible news of accounting fraud came in, and it literally dropped from $26 to $5 overnight, and then closed, and it was halted. So what halted means that it's usually due to investigation or manipulation of the ask and the bid. It can be different various things, but again, in this case, there was just so much individuals just running to the front door of Luckin Coffee and banging on the NASDAQ to get rid of their shares. So that being said, most likely, again, we don't know what's going to happen. That's why I kind of want to make this video as a precursor to what could happen. So it kind of give you the bull and bear case. Again, the NASDAQ saying they're trying to delist this. So that is the fundamental side of it. The fundamental side, point number two, is they had accounting fraud, and most long-term investors don't like that because once you do it once, you do it again. It's kind of like when you cheat on someone. It's not like a one-time occurrence kind of thing. It's kind of like a reoccurring pattern. So people are just mindful of that. That's just like the basic human instinct of how people think. So the psychology behind it is going to be people are going to try to, because again, if they had money tied up on this, if they had it they bought it at $5 or $6 and they want to get out of it as soon as possible, it's going to be a pretty big rush. So get ready to see quite a bit of volume, probably as much as volume as we did see on the 2nd of April, potentially even more, just to try to get in and out. There are going to be people coming in to try to buy the dip or be the contrarian better on the sense of like, oh, it's not going out of business, it's not going to be delisted, but the NASDAQ's saying it's delisted, so, but anything can happen. No one has a crystal ball, we know that here. But for the people who view my channel, I just want you guys to be very careful, because again, this has a huge red flag over it, not because it's in China, but that's because it has accounting fraud. I don't care if the company was a US-based company, if it has accounting fraud, it's very dangerous. And it wasn't like a mistake. It was intentionally done accounting fraud. So it wasn't like the guy forgot to carry the zero. It was like the guy added the zero. So that being said, once trading starts opening up here, you're going to see the bid and the ask potentially fly through the roof. A lot of volume coming in. It's going to be moving pretty fast for sure, because you're going to have a lot of people who've been in the stock, could be at $26, and they just weren't able to get out the last 3 days of trading for whatever reason. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get out and rush. So the first probably 30 minutes, we're going to see basically a tick well below 427. Again, this is just all going to be the bull case and the bear case. We're going to see a lot of selling with the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, potentially going down even further from the low of $4.27. But we honestly could see a rebound, because it could be the boys at Wall Street Bets saying, oh, I'm going to buy this stock for $2 and see if I can get $4 out of it, because they're going to get a lot of those vultures, aka scalpers and traders, that are just going to come here and then trade it, because it's going to have a lot of volume, a lot of liquidation for people to get in and out of it really fast. So you're going to be super mindful of that. It's going to seem like it might go up, but again, if you're a long-term investor, I think that you're just going to have to stay away from this due to the fact of the accounting fraud, like we said. I don't know on the top of my head how many companies coming back from accounting fraud, especially to this extent. And this beatdown, like the company's not even been listed for a year on the NASDAQ and it's been beaten up already. So the alternative is just to buy Starbucks, because they have multiple stores in China as well, and they have no accounting fraud problems. And from the last time I see, I don't drink Starbucks coffee because I think it's too burnt. That's just my opinion. Starbucks coffee is definitely a safer bet, in the sense of it doesn't have that big red flag over it for two reasons. It's not from China, and it's not from accounting fraud issues. That being said, it has been having some issues, just like the S&P 500, of breaking the 200 exponential moving average to try to break higher. The 8, which is the pink line here, the exponential moving average, has not broken below the 21 yet, so this is still a good sign, but we're trading pretty tightly between the 78 and 71, just bouncing around, kind of just waiting to see on how the opening of various states, countries, and economies are going to be going. So this is kind of like sitting on your hands and wait mode. Again, the stock has been performing fairly well the last couple years. It, again, did have that downturn, had a huge run up. They're adding a lot of new products to the menu. I do like it in the sense of adding the Beyond Meat potential product, or adding that to their menu as well. But again, key prices we're looking at is breaking above the 78. I like to see it around 79. That's going to be the bull case. The bear case is going to be that the 8 crosses through the 21 and potentially tests its short-term low around 70, 71. So we're just going to put a little indication here at or below. So basically, if it breaks through this with the squeeze intact, the RSI has been flat. The volume oscillator down here has also been flat. It's just been kind of like, again, sit on your hands and wait mode, looking at for potential any kind of movement from news basically, into seeing how the consumer comes back. Because even the Starbucks that's near my place there's a line on the drive-through every morning that I drive by. So I'm just like, people still need to get their fix. So I think long-term Starbucks is going to be much safer than Luckin Coffee. So that's basically the moral of the story. And again, key takeaways for Luckin: just be careful out there. There's a lot of unknowns, especially with that company. We'll definitely keep a close eye on it today. Would like to see how it trades, and we'll just go from there. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested, you can join our awesome, wonderful Discord chat. That's also in the description. And also, if you want to support the channel, you can join the Patreon for some extra bonus stuff. Again, guys, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.